clarify where you want to be. One of the biggest difference between working in Korean company and US company to American company as well. I'm telling all of my friends really how important to have multiple income flow. That's very, very important. You need to take some risk, but also because I don't have any safety net. Like I said, I'm from poverty. Don't be comfortable where you are. You need to hustle in New York City, right?
Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we have a very special guest, Jiyoung Bae. We're live in Brooklyn, New York. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Jiyoung, you are from South Korea.
Correct, yes.
And you have been in digital marketing for many years, and in New York for many years as well.
Yeah.
And you're an entrepreneur, an Airbnb entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Could you walk us through your background real quick?
Okay, yeah. First of all, this is Jiyoung Bae, and then, like you said, I'm first generation Korean. First generation Korean, and then I came to US like 7 years ago, and then at the time I came here with a J1 visa. I don't know whether you are familiar with the visa status, visa things, but basically I come here.
What is the J1 visa?
J1 visa is basically, it's called exchange visa.
Okay.
So you can work, you can study at the same time.
Understood.
Yeah, so I got that visa opportunity. So I come here but I need to start with the unpaid internship because my English capability was not that good compared to anybody else at the time. Also, like I didn't have a US diploma, so it was very challenging. So I started unpaid internship. But I took several roles after that, and then I ended up being a technical project manager at Fortune 500 companies like Samsung or AT&T. And also side gigs, like you said, I also bought a home in Brownsville in Brooklyn 2 years ago, which is not the desirable area. You might know that like they have very negative connotation, but they have a negative kind of reputations. But I turned that into like lucrative Airbnb business, and this year we are projecting making more than 100K revenue wise. Also, like recently, also I got laid off from the AT&T, and then I just decided to use this time to just focus on pursuing my own dreams. You know, so I revisited my e-commerce business, and then also extended the team overseas, expanded my team members overseas, and then also I started my YouTube channel and then TikTok, and then
wow,
yeah.
You're doing a lot. So let me just make sure like I understood what I heard. You've been in the US for 7 years.
Yes.
You have you went from being an unpaid intern to a digital marketing professional.
Yes.
You're an Airbnb entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're making almost 100K or more this year.
Easily more, I think. Yeah.
And you're a content creator.
Yes.
I have a lot of questions, but first, how can people get in touch with you as a content creator?
They can contact me on the YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. I use the same handle.
And what's your handle?
The Korean Boss.
The Korean Boss.
Yeah, yeah.
The Korean Boss.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. I want to hear a little bit more about everything you just said.
Okay.
It's just so exciting. So you say you've been in the United States for 7 years.
Yes, sir.
And you're from Korea.
Yes.
You're a first generation American.
Not American yet.
Okay.
First generation immigrant, definitely.
In the United States.
In the United States, yes.
In the United States. What was it like? What was your life like before in Korea and then coming here as a professional?
Okay, I mean, I used to work there too. I studied hard there, so I went to good university and then I got a good job, but it's a very homogeneous culture. And then also where I come from, I don't know whether I can talk like a lot of my I'm like really like candid background, but I'm from poverty. And then where I come from, also we have our own direct. And then when I work or when I study, even I did my best, and it was very hard. There was ceiling because it's so homogeneous culture. So people always try to compare you to others within the homogeneous society. So at the time, only thing they can compare was where you come from, your country, which part of Korea you're coming from, what kind of accent you're coming from, what kind of accent do you have, or where do you live, what your parents are doing.
It's very judgy, is what.
Very judgy, yeah, very judgy. And even though I did my best even though I did my best from limited resources, I still lots of ceilings. Like when I got a good job there, it was a pretty good job, and then still lots of people are very, very judgy. They are like everyone studied abroad, which I never had a opportunity like that. So compared to that, I feel like here, especially New York, is a super inclusive. They are really okay with different background. They don't look at me like I'm a weird person. They can just if I think I have a very unique point of view in the life. And whenever I talk with other friends in here, they all say, "Oh, that's so cool." Like they don't judge me. That's how I feel. Like biggest difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I find that so interesting and fascinating what you said about Korea and what you say about people judging.
Oh, yeah.
Because, from my understanding, you were like top 0.01% in mathematics or something, right? Didn't you get a full ride for college as well?
Yeah. I mean that was one of my more forte, but still, even that doesn't count.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I really feel like most people care about your background, your financial background.
Yeah.
Where
Your status, your class.
definitely. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like it's really hard. And also I realized that I think it's really because people are very homogeneous, and then they don't see any other different ways but getting a good job. It's like we know Samsung or LG or Hyundai. They only see that that's the only success, so you must pursue. Not like alternative ways like being entrepreneur or doing something new stuff. They don't accept that, and then that's back to what we're saying. It's very homogeneous. It's very judgy. That's how I feel.
But you've been in the United States now for 7 years, and you mentioned that you were an unpaid intern.
Oh, yeah.
And then you became a digital marketing professional.
Yeah.
So it seems like you worked really, really hard to go from someone that no one knew to becoming a professional in your field. So tell me about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, I call myself as a fresh of both when I came here. I know that it can be it can have negative feedback from the people, but I was really kind of new to here. I never expected I was gonna settle down in the U.S. But at the time, I had I had no other choice but to start as an unpaid intern. And at the time, I worked very hard during the daytime. It was a marketing job, of course. It was it has been my career. But at night, when I come back home, I studied. I just self-taught. I did self-teaching about myself to learn how to build a website, all the coding and all the email marketing and digital marketing. And then by learning those kind of skill set, I was able to also pitch to, at the time, my employer, my managers, saying that I can do this kind of stuff. Can I try? And then the fun part was that the startup at the time, I worked at the time, they didn't have that much like digital presence. They only did a little bit of social media, but they didn't do that much about email marketing, CRM, or other digital marketing effort.
Right.
So me doing that was really, I could see really huge, turnovers. That really excited me. Also, that I used that kind of output as a leverage to get more paid, to get paid.
Right.
So that's how I start my developing my skill set, and that's how I start to, level up my career or my titles.
You seem to me, like, just hearing your story, you seem to me to be a very dedicated and passionate person, or disciplined furthermore. Like, to say that I taught myself digital marketing, the coding, kind of like all of the foundational things to do that. What advice do you give to someone?
I think it depends on how do you define the success. But if I define success as the place where I want to be, they're getting to get the level that I want it to be, then I'll say the first thing first is you need to really clarify where you want to be, what you want to be, and that's the first thing. I think you need to have a concrete idea, very detailed. Like, so at the time, I had a kind of vision that, at the time, I had no idea, like, whether I can live in New York City because everything was so expensive. But I had a goal that, I wanted to buy a home here because, like, I saw some friends, they're immigrant friends, and they were buying homes, and it was like, maybe it's possible for me. I don't know how soon, but that was one of the things I wanted to do. And another thing was I wanted to have a 6-figure paycheck, which I never felt like I was able to. But having those kind of, it can be really too much a dream high part. But I think still that's the first thing you need to do. Like, you should picture yourself where you want to be very clearly, and then from there and once you have a goal, I think these days, our generation, there are a lot of resources out there. YouTube, Google, old articles, blog, podcasts, all the TikTok videos, whatever. That you have lots of ways to learn by yourself for free. So once you have a clear goal, and you are convinced to get there, I think other things will be just much easier. You have lots of resources. Yeah.
There's really no excuse in 2024.
I believe, but I can also generalize, my belief to everybody else, but yeah.
Yeah. So you've been in New York for 7 years.
Correct. Yeah.
But I read somewhere that, 7 years ago, you thought you would be like in Paris, learning French. How did you end up in New York City?
That's fun part, because like I said, I'm from poverty, and then I never imagined that I will live abroad when I was in college, and then, but me as a gay man in South Korea I always need to live two different life, like at my work, because they are not accepting anything. I didn't want to jeopardize my career. I need to lie, and then at night I'm having fun at the a gay area. That was one of the reasons why I felt like maybe I should try to live another life. I need to try to plan another life, and I had no idea where to go. So it was like during my college, almost end of college period, I just applied for exchange program, and my first choice was to go to Italy. And in Italy, I was not super excited about Italy. To be honest, it was a very homogeneous like Korea,
Right.
but I really enjoyed the Ryanair. Either that they were so cheap to go to Paris or London, and so whenever I go to those areas, very multicultural and very multiracial areas, that those places were very fascinating me. And during the time, all my friends who knows that I got so excited about going to London, going to Paris, they were saying maybe you should try to go to East Coast in the U.S. At the time, I never thought I never in the U.S. before, and I never thought they would be an option, because I only heard bad thing about America in Europe.
Oh, really?
You might know. At the time, at least in Italy, lots of Italians, they were making fun of the Americans. Like, they're so lazy. They just work too much, or they don't know what's the best coffee is. They don't know the pizza's taste, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, after coming back from Italy, I was working, but I find opportunity to come here. That's how I ended up trying to come to the U.S. But even at the time, I didn't know whether I'm gonna like it or not, because I didn't know whether it was a good fit, but it ended up I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, New York is amazing.
I love it. Yeah.
And you've been here for 7 years.
Correct. Yeah.
And in those 7 years, you have, went from unpaid intern to creating that 6-figure career that you wanted and starting an Airbnb business. And how did you become an Airbnb entrepreneur?
Yeah. That's an interesting question, because in terms of investment, whenever I have spare money, I put it in I learned those kind of retirement plans or the brokerage things from YouTube, and then I start to invest lots of money on the IRA every year, and then I put aside money on my brokerage account, and then most of the time I just focus on just purchasing either dividend stocks or just Magnificent Seven, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And compare over 7 years, it has been crazy going up, and that become kind of that was one of the great choice I made. I put this whenever I have spare money, I just put it there, just let it grow. I didn't pull out. That was my baby step of investing. And after that, and then 2 years ago, when I found the opportunity that there's a first-time home buyer program, such a thing.
You were saying about you're investing in the IRA and the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid of investing. They think they're going to lose their money.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And so, but you are not. And you are not even from the United States. You've only been in the U.S. for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you learned investing on YouTube.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what was your journey of learning like? How do you deal with the fear of investing as a South Korean in the United States?
let's break down first one by one. Then the fear part first. I think definitely I understand. But I of course, there's a saying like, no pain, no gain, such a thing, right? So
No pain, no gain.
yeah, so definitely you need to take some risk. But also because I don't have any safety net. I'm like I said, I'm from poverty, so I need to take the more strategic steps to take the risk. So what I can do was do like I said, I watched lots of several YouTube channels, and then I was watching lots of YouTube channels, and then I was learning how can I do this kind of technical analysis, that kind of stuff. Or also at the same time, you can see I'm a huge history guru, and then once you see the history of how S&P 500 has been over 100 years compared to any other countries, I think you should have some kind of belief that history will repeat. So that's how I remove the fear part.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first thing, and the second part was I just also get to pick which stocks or where to invest. I just follow the rule of thumb, like especially coming from the South Korea. U.S. government has a huge power in the world, and personally, I believe that they will never let the market crash too much, and especially, I really believe that there's a too big to fail, that kind of thing. I think U.S. government will think that way. So think about Magnificent Seven. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of Americans invest in those kind of stock, those kind of companies, and I think U.S. government will not let it just fail. That's how I believe. That's why I put all of my money there.
In many ways, I agree with you. I think that the U.S. economy, like the S&P 500 and the Magnificent Seven and the U.S. economy, it just won't fail, right? And like there's 330 million people that wake up every day and go to work to like make money, grow their families, and like I think a lot of people look at the stock market and forget that it's everyday people trying to make money for themselves, for their family, for their country, for their economy. And I think it's hard for any economy to really collapse if there's all of these people just like really working hard and being really focused on that goal of growth.
I agree that too. Yeah, I really see the American mindset is very powerful. Like they are very diligent. At the same time, they are really looking for like innovating the process. I think that has been like one of the biggest difference between working in Korean company and US company to American company as well.
When you say that's one of the biggest difference, can you elaborate on that?
For instance, like of course I cannot talk about Korean working culture at this point because I moved here 7 years ago. But compared to 7 years ago, I think Korean companies like they are not really seeking for the productivity that much compared to American company. What I'm saying is, if your boss is still at the desk, you cannot leave even though you finish your work. That kind of things will really make it incentivize you to work lazy. Whereas in America, as long as you finish your work, you're done. You can do whatever you want. You will be judged. Your salary will be judged by your performance, not by how long you have work.
Right.
I think that's one of the example I can talk about, like productivity. And then I think U.S. in American company, at least based on my experience, they are always focusing on how much have you improved about this kind of process or this kind of product or service, and what's the difference, YOY, that kind of stuff. They are hugely focused on that. They don't care about any other crafts other than that. That's why I feel like one of kind of remarkable like American work ethic or work
characteristics.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah. So you were mentioning about your Airbnb business, and I'm so excited to hear about it because you said you started this business 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Okay, I think I can break down into two parts. Like first, why I bought the house there, and then how I run the Airbnb business there.
Yeah, so, please.
The reason why I was bought the home in Brownsville is that I personally believe that based on my experience at the time, like 5 years in the U.S., I believe that I saw the gentrification. I know gentrification has two very debatable terms, but I saw the gentrification going with the L train at the time. New Yorkers will know where the L trains are, what the L train is. Because I realized that, I mean, I used to live in the Bushwick, and then 5 years ago, Bushwick was not a big thing, but it has been super big thing, and people are moving to the Bed-Stuy or bottom part of Bushwick, and I saw that this is like, you know, where the gay goes, where artists are goes. I think that's where the gentrification will start. Right. And after Bushwick, you know, there are only two options: East New York or Brownsville. And I wanted to be the Brownsville has a little bit more opportunity because it's a little bit closer compared to Eastern New York, closer to the city. And then there's other train, like 3 train. That's why I picked that area. Of course, there was lots of negative reputation. Even my realtor at the time, he told me that, are you sure? Like, yeah, he told me, are you sure you are buying the big investment? You know, it's like, I was like, yeah, I think that's the future. Like, even because another indicator I used was city bike map. And if you see the city bike map, I saw that, you know, all the city bike stations are building from Bushwick going down, and they are also filling it from the Flatbush to east of Flatbush. And now the Brownsville is kind of empty pocket now.
Right.
It'll be next thing. And then I think there's also, like, you know, gentrification is following the city bike station too. So that's the reason why I picked the Brownsville first of all. And that's why I picked the area. And then I was looking for some turnkey property, like not too much foundation or renovations, because I have a very limited fund at the time. So,
okay.
But I found this good opportunity. So I just get in there 100%, and then it took 2 months because I was still working. I was still working at the time. 2 months to furnish everything, because it's a 3-bedroom home, a single family home. To furnish everything, it took a while. But I was able to furnish everything, and, you know, I use all of my digital marketing skills, like, you know, all the description, SEO, and then those can giving a unique perspective to the customer compared to my competitors. That's how I think started Airbnb business. And then, yeah.
Tell me about your Airbnb business.
Okay. My Airbnb business, like because last year, 2023, New York City, they passed a law that you need to be able to do the legal Airbnb business, you need to live there at the property, that's what I've been doing. So I'm renting out my private rooms separately, and of course separately as a private room.
Okay.
You cannot rent out entire space without you being there, which was helpful for me, because that also removed lots of, you know, other competitors. How I started the Airbnb business, how I'm running it. Like I said, I just bought the turnkey property, and then I used my AI to furnish it. And I learned the photography a little bit, like during my first few jobs. So I do my best, like using my camera, retouching everything, because, you know, visual is a very important thing. And then also I added a little bit, my perspective at the time about my listing is I need to give some kind of unique charm to the guest,
right,
to be able to, you know, pop up compared to that and then the competitors. So I highlight about, you know, I have lots of plants. I love plants. So I added lots of plants there. It's very LGBTQ friendly, and they're very safe, welcoming. Also, my personality is very welcoming. I like to talk with the different people from different backgrounds. So that was my highlight when it comes to description and title, I have all the details on my listings. And of course, when you start, you need to ask your other friends to get some reviews. So that's how I got the first few reviews, and from there I got bookings. And then when you got the bookings, you need to really do your best, 100% more or 150%. Like, you should give the really satisfying experience for them, so that they can give you the 5-star reviews,
right?
Because that's really helpful for the SEO. Once you are having, like, I think at least 10-20 good reviews, your listing will be boosted up on the Airbnb search engine.
Okay.
That's how you can really catch up all the, you know, consistent workflow, consistent bookings. That's how I started my Airbnb business. And there has been lots of Not so much, but there has been some headaches every now and then because some people will say, like after they booking, they are saying, oh, I researched it and your neighborhood doesn't seem like safe. Is it safe? They try to cancel it. That happens multiple times.
How do you deal with a situation like that?
But I jot down all the details about my neighborhood. It's residential neighborhood, and then also I'm telling them what you are seeing right now is it is also like outdated. Nowadays even people can say, the bushing is dangerous. It can be dangerous everywhere if you're living in New York City.
New York City.
It can be dangerous everywhere. You just don't need to be like, fresh up a boat. Like you don't need to look at your phone when you walk, because you will be a target for whatever you're doing. So I approached them like, it's happening everywhere in New York City. And then Brownsville, we are very like, up and coming developing area. Now it's really popping up. So don't worry too much. Nothing ever happened to me, neither for me. And also that I have, based on my experience, I have several, female guests walking around at night. They're still totally fine. And even me, Asian boy, walking my doggy with a booty short, it has been so fine for 2 years. And so that's how I approach them, saying, chill out, calm down, it's fine. It's not like there's no guns here, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I say.
Why did you choose to do Airbnb versus just being a landlord or having a roommate?
Because I wanted to, first thing is like, when I purchased a home, I believed I need to maximize the leverage. So I use a first-time home buyer program, which means that I put a little more money, and I have my principles are high. So if I'm just doing the long term, it doesn't make sense ROI wise. Like I need to pay so much money from my pocket, because it's the rentals are not, the rent prices not that high to cover up all my mortgage, other expenses. That's why I pursued the Airbnb, because it's the first I have a home. And then at the end, they were not able to pay that much back to cover my mortgage and everything if I'm just doing long term or sublet or roommate. That's why. And
so you were very money focused.
I am very money.
Can I ask you a detailed question?
Yes.
So you bought your place 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How much did you buy it for? How much you put? What was your down payment? What was your interest rate?
At the time, my place was around like 650K.
Okay.
Range, that area. And then I put 3.5 down, and then, which was very little.
So that's the FHA loan.
It was not FHA, it was a traditional loan, but still somehow my loan officer, he found out it's not FHA, it's some different thing.
Sure.
And then my interest was a 5.5, and then even, the first time home buyer from New York State, I was qualified for some kind of grant program. So they were giving me like 15,000 back.
Wow.
So it was really, and then I just pull out 10,000 from my IRA, because if you are doing first time home buyer program, you can pull out that much money without penalty.
Okay.
And then just closing costs, I think closing costs were like $30,000 or $40,000. So combine all of it, it was a big investment for me, but compared to any other people who purchasing home here, it was not much. But there was, of course, because of that, I have a higher monthly mortgage payment because of, I rent, I put a little much less compared to other traditional people.
How much are your monthly expenses?
Like just mortgage and then insurance and interest itself is like, now it's $4,500.
And that's with taxes too?
Including taxes. Taxes were pretty cheap there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure. So, as a 32-year-old, 31
at the time. Yeah.
31 at the time, how do you gain the confidence to sign yourself up for a $650,000 home, for a $4,500 payment for the next 30 years?
Well, I think I had more belief. I mean, of course, it's huge risk because like I said, I'm from poverty. None of my family members own the home. So I couldn't ask those questions to those people. But thankfully, I had a few friends in New York who owned the home and who went through what I've been through. So they were really giving me the assurance that, Jiyoung, the New York property will go continuously. Right. That's what they have been observed, and then based on also my research about property value, how it has been, it's all trending goes up. like, I mean, sometimes it goes down, but in the long run, it's always going up.
Right.
And also, I personally thought that New York will be only one asset parking space at this point because, China is not doing well and it's so risky. And then Europe is not doing well. So all the rich people, they are pulling out money from there and then investing in the millionaire role here, like that kind of stuff. So
right.
I feel like New York will also, another part I realized after visiting the West Coast or Bay Area, I feel like New York, the industry-wise, New York City is a very diverse, not like San Francisco, like not like, because they are only focused on tech. If tech industry goes down, whole the market, real estate market will dip in. But here, I feel like it's very diverse, and I think we have consistent, transplant people coming from other city, other side of the world, and then that was why I felt like I can make it. I have a job and I have a vision that I run the number, like how much I can charge, and then I see those like occupancy rate near me, and then I said, okay, at worst case, I can do this. I can just reach a break-even point. But but certainly, it passed that point for me at this point. But at the time, I just had to believe that, compared to seeing the history, like last 20, 30 years, it will go up still. And then New York, the demographic wise, New York will keep bringing the new people. So there'll be always demands. And then also, I think there's some kind of law that you cannot really, there are not many places to build more places. So the rent
space,
there's no space. So it'll just keep going up. That was my projection. And so I just pull, at the time, like my perspective was a calculated risk taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just made sense. The math was mathing.
For me, yes. And then, based on my experience too. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have opportunities to expand your business now? I mean,
The thing is, in New York City, not really, because New York City because of the law, they only allow one host for one property. So I'm maxed out there. So my next, I'm thinking about my next project or my endeavor should be either getting some SBA related loan to get some mixed use property so that I can rent it out and do my business there, or going other states and then running the same method. But I don't know yet which one. Like I said, it's been 2 years, and then I'm seeing the cash flow, and I'm using this cash flow to other businesses. Like I said at the beginning, like e-commerce business and content creation. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, so far I feel like Airbnb. I mean that's also I'm saying. I'm recommending all of my friends, including you, saying you should buy property, like no condo. You should buy a home.
Buy a home,
and do Airbnb, because that's a city allows you legally to do that.
Yeah,
and that's very lucrative, and you can use the cash cow for other investment.
Yeah. You were mentioning that you were cash flowing. You said earlier that you're making $100,000. Is that in revenue or is that profit?
That's revenue. So, for instance, like this month, we are almost end of June, and then June is doing very good because of the Pride, everything. So, for instance, this month I'm making more than last month. Like the revenue wise, $13,000 this month.
Okay.
And then paying just mortgage itself, I'm making still good amount, like almost 8 or 9K.
Okay.
That's just profitable. Of course, I have other expenses I need to for other businesses. So I think that's a good cash flow. So with that money, I'm hiring other virtual assistant overseas, because they cost much less compared to America.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I'm utilizing my cash flow for other businesses.
Do you have a full-time job now?
I got laid off earlier this year, so not right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a full-time job?
Of course, but I feel like it's a very challenging situation at this point. Like I see that. I mean, I've been applying, doing lots of interviews, but it seems more challenging because I think lots of people got laid off from big techs. You must know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm competing with all those people together. So, and the good thing is, at first I was doing, of course, I was applying everything by myself. But now I just create the SOP, and then I just hand it up to my assistant using the old AI tools, and then can you deal with that? And then when you feel like it's a very good fit for me, then contact me.
Right.
So I just kind of filter out. I free up my time by doing so. Yes.
So you got laid off this year, and it sounds to me that your entrepreneurial pursuits have really been a lifeline for you. Like if you didn't start your own business, you would have no income.
No. And that's why also I'm telling all of my friends, really, at least I cannot say that they need to start their other business like e-commerce, whatever, but at least whenever you should aim to buy the home first and then do the Airbnb. That while you're having full-time job, because like without me having my home or an Airbnb business, I'm have to go back to Korea because I have no safety net. I will use all of my savings. I'll have to withdraw all the money from IRA, but I'll be a very shaky situation, and I realize that how important to have multiple income flow. That's very, very important, especially in America you can get laid off anytime at will. So I'm really seeing that how important it is, and then that's why I'm also recommending all my friends. You need to really do that. Don't be comfortable where you are, because that can be quite. I feel like that's kind of delusion. You feel like you're safe because you have a full-time job for 5, 10 years, 20 years. When I see in LinkedIn, there are lots of people who got laid off like after 25 years, 30 years. So you always, of course, you need to work very hard for your current job to, grow yourself. But at the same time, you should always plan for the plan B. That's how I pursue.
You need to have your own back.
Of course, yeah. Especially I'm not from fancy background, so I don't have any I don't have any I don't have any kind of summer house in the Hampton. Go there. Oh, mom, I need to couch surf here for a few days. I cannot do that.
Damn. Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, that's real.
So what's next for you? What are your goals now?
Right now, like I said, I expanded my team overseas, and then I'm using all the other tools. And then by doing with that, I just almost automate my Airbnb business. Like all my assistant and other teams are there handling all the communication, all the booking situations with Airbnb, and same with the job searching too. So right now I'm able to focus on my e-commerce business. I'm selling jewelries online.
Oh, you sell jewelry?
Yeah, jewelry. And then I also started my my content creation. How to call? Well, I also started my YouTube channel and TikTok to just share my journey. And I think that'll be my next goal, our next focus, like e-commerce and then content creation.
So for those who are looking for jewelry, how can they find you?
They can search. They can find the Bushing Market, because that's the name of the brand I created. Okay. Because I really wanted to make some kind of inclusive jewelry line, because I realized that Bushing is known for like very non-binary, very like inclusive. You can wear anything you want.
Right.
That's why you can search the Bushing Market on the Instagram or Google, anywhere. Yeah.
That's lovely. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So you have your hands in all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, you need to hustle in New York City, right? Don't you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And has business been good for your jewelry company?
I recently revisited it because I really focus on like last 2 months for the jewelry e-commerce business. Slowly catching up, or not a lot, because I'm not. My focus is like not. I'm trying to focus on non-paid tactics for my e-commerce businesses. So it's just slowly catching up. But the reason I started e-commerce business is like when I get some money, after getting 6 figures, I try to get some jewelry, the shops. But I realized they're either very feminine or very masculine.
Right.
And I feel like I'm not neither of them. Of course, I have both part within me a little bit, but I don't feel like super belong to that. And that's why I started kind of e-commerce business. Like, maybe there's be some jewelry line where I can fit, where I can feel like fit in, and there should be some kind of demands, I think, out there. But the only way you can figure out the opportunity is that you just need to roll out first.
Yeah.
And then see how it goes. So I'm at this stage like, okay, I'm gonna pull out. I'm gonna put all the effort to see whether this kind of marketing messages or my value are really talking to any other people. There are people out there or not. I don't know yet, but slowly the sales are catch up. So maybe they are, but I cannot tell yet.
So you have your hands on a lot of things. You're Airbnb entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You have a jewelry business, and you're a content creator. Tell me about content creation.
I think I am natural. I'm very like nurturing and sharing person. And whenever I talk with other friends, I really try to motivate them to start other stuff. And then when I talk about those kind of topics, I realize I'm really getting like motivated to share my journey. And then lots of my friends said, "Jiyoung, what you're saying is very interesting. Like I never thought it's possible." And I become kind of living example for them. Of course, I mean I'm beginning stage, so I don't know how it'll go. But that was kind of aha moment for me. Like, oh, maybe people will be interested about my story, what I'm doing, my mindset or my attitude. That's why I started the content creation. It's just like sharing what I'm going through, like the same thing what you're doing, like sharing what I've learned, how I fail, how I win, all the things. I always feel that there is always kind of insight you can learn from any parts of your life.
Yeah,
that's why I started a content creation, because I have some kind of leg room right now.
Jiyoung, you are very inspiring, and you are a very hard worker. You have your hands in so many different businesses. I was curious to know if you were to recommend a book that, helped you along the way or inspired you. What book would you recommend?
I would recommend, I recommend this book to everybody. It's called E-Myth.
E-Myth?
Yeah. E-Myth you will find it on Amazon easily. That was very inspiring for me, because that book, basically the concept of that book is to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to have 3 hats at the simultaneously. You need to be a successful technician, and you should be a successful manager. You should be a successful entrepreneur. Meaning that technician means you should be able to know how to get things done, the doing level wise. And manager means that you need to be able to build a system because without system you cannot you'll follow. You're gonna miss lots of stuff.
Right.
And the last entrepreneur is like you should be a visionary, bringing the next step to your business. And it was really resonating for me when I read it, like during the COVID, like 2020, I think, because where I come from and who I am is I'm very, very 100% technician. I'm only focused on get things done,
right?
But without seeing the big picture, without building a system. And that book really gave me aha moment, saying like, oh, I need to really contribute 30% of my time for being technician, 30% of my time to be a manager, 30% time for to be an entrepreneur. That's how I also govern my days these days. Like I section my day within 3 sections, and then I'm trying to focus on each part. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to give that book a read. I haven't read it.
I really recommend it. It's really inspiring.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Jiyoung, everybody.
Subscribe.